Wukusu, peace, black power, and welcome to Harlem Liberation School's YouTube channel. Harlem Liberation School is a black nationalist, pan-African community organization based in Harlem. We provide relevant and credible political education to help black people wake up, clean up, and stand up, in the words of Brother Malcolm X. To do this, we provide panel discussions, political commentary, mini documentaries, leadership tips, classes, and interviews with some of our most dedicated and effective leaders, activists, and intellectuals around the world. The concept of Wukusu is very important to us and central to our mission. It is our greeting, our motto, and our guiding philosophy. Wukusu is an acronym for the phrase,
Wake up, clean up, stand up.
Wake up means developing black nationalist and pan-African consciousness. Clean up tells us to identify and eliminate our self-defeating behavior that gets in the way of us being our highest selves. Stand up compels us to use our gifts and our resources to exert leadership in our communities to help liberate our people. We humbly ask you to subscribe to our channel so we can reach more people. We encourage you to like, share, and comment on our videos, and we invite you to donate to our work either through sending us a super chat here on YouTube or by sending donations through Cash App to $TRUSELF143. Now, let's build. Peace and black power, families. Brother AGYEI'S from Harlem Liberation School, where we teach black people to wake up, clean up, and stand up, in the words of Brother Malcolm X. Today, we have a very special guest. In fact, all of our guests are special. If you're on this channel, you are special by definition, because we will not have you on here if we don't deem you special. But this is a Baba. This is an elder, revolutionary OG, so to speak. Baba Carlito Rovira has been on the broadcast before, and he is a revolutionary visual artist. He is a community organizer, and he is a member of the Young Lords organization. So he has paid his dues and then some, and is still paying his dues, servicing the community. Today, we have a special announcement. We're doing a last-minute push to see if we can get more of our people, our comrades, our brothers and sisters, out to this very important art exhibit and art show in which Baba will be selling some of his pieces for a very important cause. So we're going to bring him on now. Baba Carlito, peace.
Peace to you, AG, brother AG.
Yes, sir.
I hope
man.
I pronounced it right.
It's AJ, but that's okay. It's AJ. Listen, it's always good to speak with you. In my opinion, in my estimation, you have the body of work, you have the background, you put in the work, and you also have a kind spirit, engaging personality that I think sometimes our revolutionaries forget, that it's not just about fighting the enemy, it's just the way that we interact with each other that's very important. So I appreciate that. I just want to say that to you face to face. I appreciate that. I'm glad you could be on again. Baba, you have a very important event coming up day after my birthday. Could you talk to us about it?
Well, this is going to happen at the Piragua Art Space in the Lower East Side, also known as Lower East Sider by the community. And that's located at 367 East 10th Street, between Avenue B and C. Now, what's unique about this art exhibit is that the figures, the portraitures that I paint are of revolutionaries. I'm talking about people who were trying to smash this racist system in one way or another throughout history, such as John Brown, Malcolm X, Pedro Albizu Campos, Lolita Lebron, Lucy Parsons, so many others, because our history is filled. We're not short of heroes and sheroes. We're not short of them at all. Our entire history as oppressed people is warriors that rose up to lead and to fight. And that's what I cater to. I paint figures that would not get the grandeur that they deserve under this racist and oppressive system. And we have to do it. Now, what's additional motivation on my part for having this art exhibit is that right now they're trying to erase. They're trying to erase our history. In universities across the country, they're trying to do away with Black and brown studies, Black history, Chicano history, Puerto Rican history, Asian American history. They're trying to do away with it. It's not just about eliminating DEI, which is bad enough, but part and parcel of that is getting rid of our achievements as human beings, our contributions in this society. In other words, whitewash it completely. In the colonial setting of Puerto Rico, they have eliminated the Institute of Puerto Rican Culture, and that is part and parcel of this drive to do away with our institutions, with our history, as well as our arts. The National Endowment of the Arts was attacked, defunded, and is on its way of being extinct. And there's a reason for that, that many of the artists that receive funding from the National Endowment of the Arts are African American, are Black and Latino, you know, and you know, let's face it, they have a mission right now to eradicate not just our art, but us as well. And we have to find ways. We have to get creative in how we're going to push back and fight back.
So, Baba Carlito, you're telling us the opposite of what I'm hearing a lot of, that we should be quiet, we should, you know, go underground. I take it that you have a slightly different position on that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, our history is being like Spartacus. Okay, we have had nothing but Spartacus in our entire history. If you don't fight, you will die. Is that plain and simple? Nat Turner did not sit back and just wait for the Union Army to come down and emancipate him. No, he fought. Harriet Tubman, the same thing. In fact, Harriet Tubman pushed the cards so that you know, the Civil War can be achieved. You know, the 300,000 African Americans who fought to eradicate slavery in this country, the many Puerto Rican nationalists who sacrificed their lives to expose to the world the U.S. colonial presence in Puerto Rico, the historic struggles of the Chicano people after they were occupied, it continues to be untold. So for anyone who thinks that by staying quiet is going to realize their salvation, I got news for you. It's going to exacerbate your extinction.
Thank you for that, Baba. So it sounds like what you're saying is kind of my position, that we got to actually escalate our efforts. We always need to be wise and discerning. We don't want to do anything foolhardy or impulsive, but we got to keep the fight up by all means.
By any means necessary. And, you know, I was a young Lord, or I should say I'm still a young Lord. And today I fight with my paintbrush. Okay, because art is very emotionally enlightening, and if I can use my art to enlighten people to wake up and see the necessity to fight back, guess what? I'm going to continue doing my art and take it all the way to the grave.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate the fact that you identify art as revolutionary, or depending on whose hands it's in, right? Because a lot of people don't see it that way, and art can be very revolutionary. Baba, please comment on that.
They use art to poison the minds of our youth. Look what happened to hip hop. They use art to corrupt our culture. Look what happened to salsa. Okay, you look at any art form. It always begins to be progressive, as there's a message inside of it. And once the recording companies, the movie companies, etc., the book companies, if they can co-opt it, they take the revolutionary content out of it. And we artists of all forms, we have to be conscientious. You know, don't go out there trying to look pretty. Use your art as one of the tools to realize the emancipation of our peoples. Again, this is why I'm having an art exhibit coming this Saturday, April 26th at 5 o'clock. And there will be canvas portraits of our heroes, Harriet Tubman, Lolita Lebron, so many, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey. All right. It's something that you don't want to miss, because when you go to the MoMA, what do you see? You see the portraits of tyrants, oppressors, slave owners, and racists, and they glorify them. And we have to do the same thing with our heroes, the people whose leadership arose as a result of the fight for the emancipation of all of us.
That's right, Baba Carlito. Do me a favor. Give me the address of this art show.
The place is called Piragua Art Space. It's a beautiful little gallery in the East Village, in a neighborhood that historically has been about the fight. It is 367 East 10th Street, and the opening reception is at 5 o'clock on Saturday, April 26th. Don't miss it. Okay. If you miss it, don't talk to me after that. Okay?
That's what we call keeping it real.
That's right. Let's keep it real, because they're after us, and they're after our productions. They're after our culture. I'm pretty sure that the Harlem Liberation School, if we don't fight back, eventually the Harlem Liberation School will be in one of their marks.
Oh yeah.
So we have to fight every step of the way. We cannot sit back, and think that everything is going to be hunky-dory on its own. No, we got to make it hunky-dory with our militancy.
That's right, Baba. Could you, for those who don't know, when we met last time virtually, you talked about how you learned your art, and I was really fascinated by the story. Could you share that with us, how you got into art? And then we're going to show your stuff so these people understand Baba's bringing that realness. Y'all better come cop some of this art and stop playing. Go ahead, Baba.
In 1984, I was a little traumatized by what happened in the Young Lords. When the disintegration and the effects of COINTELPRO on us, and I was not wrapped too tight, and I ended up doing something stupid, and I ended up in jail. It was in prison where I met this gentleman named Rex, and Rex was he was a vagrant. He was homeless. And but he was an artist. Everybody thought he was an idiot, but I knew he was a genius. And he taught me how to do art. And the prison officials, they saw what we were doing, and they created an art program, and they put us more or less in charge of developing it. And I was able to teach other inmates, both male and female. I was able to teach them what I had known up to that point, and when I finished my time, I returned to New York, and the first thing I started doing on day 2 was I went to Pearl Paints on Canal Street, and I bought me a set of paints and brushes, and I went to town. Since then, I've been doing artwork for the progressive revolutionary movement. I do not do palm trees, apples. I do not paint bullshit. I paint stuff that has to do with our liberation struggle. I use my art to legitimize our liberation struggles. And that goes from the struggle for Black power to the struggle for a free Puerto Rico, my homeland.
That's right. Now, Baba, you know, sometimes we got to make people believers. They probably sleeping, or they didn't have. Some people aren't familiar with your art. Might be sleeping on it. They may think you did some little stick figures. They don't know. But I was at a boxing gym in the Bronx where I met Baba Carlito with a Jegna Mind Richard Tanko, who brought me there. And he did the whole wall, the whole mural. I was amazed, like, who did this? And he pointed the brother out. And he also happened to be a speaker at this particular event. I believe we were commemorating the Ponce
Massacre.
Ponce Massacre, yes, sir. And then we did a video with Baba that we had on the channel. So I want you to see an example of his art. I'm going to try to put it up right now. Give me a second, family. Okay. Everybody should see. I'm going to start at the top. And for those who don't know Baba, as we go through it, just name who the person is for those who don't know.
Celia Sanchez. She was one of the commanders of the Cuban Revolution.
And that goes to show that this whole sexism thing is whack. The sisters are some of our greatest warriors. That's a fact. This is an example. I want you to see the detail in this art. We know who that is. I know who that is.
Mumia Abu Jamal. His birthday is coming up on Thursday.
Yes. Reporting on the move situation. Mistreated, imprisoned, and still was writing and doing broadcasts from prison. We know that's Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks. And what's interesting about Rosa Parks, because I research and I reread a lot of the stuff that of the figures that I paint. Rosa Parks was one of the founders of the Republic of New Africa. Homegirl was not about just sitting on a bus. Homegirl was a militant fighter.
That's right. That's right. There's a book someone wrote. It may have been, this was a compilation of stories about Black women in the struggle. And this one author did a really good piece, and she's holding a poster of Malcolm X, and she says that Rosa Parks told her that Malcolm X was her all-time hero. So that tells you right there. That's right. She grew up with guns. She said she believed in armed self-defense. I mean, yeah, a lot we don't know about some of these greats.
Patrice Lumumba, one of the prince of Africa.
Yes, sir. And he's coming up, him and Brother Malcolm and Brother Frantz Fanon are celebrating their 100th birthdays this year. They would have been 100 years old. Patrice Lumumba, assassinated with the help of Belgium, the United Nations, and the United States.
This is the matriarch of the Puerto Rican people. This is Lolita Lebrón. She was the first Puerto Rican woman in Congress. The thing was that she went there with a loaded Luger and taught some manners.
Yeah, her name rings out strong. They went to the Capitol, didn't they? The Capitol building?
Yes, they went to the Capitol building on March 1st, 1954. And she pulled out the Puerto Rican flag and said, "Free Puerto Rico," and all four nationalists started firing their weapons.
I think that's the reason that they have bulletproof windows now, if I'm correct.
They have a lot of things. You can't go to the balcony at all now. Not like that. They went up there very freely, and they got to find out that when you piss off Puerto Ricans get crazy.
Yes, as should all people who are oppressed. That's our right to retaliate. Oh, this man here, man.
This is Dr. Pedro Albizu Campos. something that most people do not know about Campos was that he was mentored by James Connolly. And James Connolly was the creator of the Irish Citizens Army, which was the predecessor of the Irish Republican Army, the IRA. He was such a badass that Marcus Garvey caught wind of him. And so Marcus Garvey went to Puerto Rico to have a powwow, a sit down with Pedro Albizu Campos.
Powerful. You talked about that on our last broadcast, and that's something that I actually did not know. I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Assata Shakur, they're still pissed at her. You know,
yes, sir.
And
they're still trying to get her back to America.
Extradite her. But they're gonna have to go through about 12 million Cubans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, because the Cuban Revolution will protect Assata down to the last person. You know, Assata Shakur surprised me because I saw a video of her speaking Spanish, and you would never know that she was from here, from Harlem. You know, the way she spoke Spanish like a Cuban. You know, damn. You know.
Yeah, she's been there for a minute. She's been in Cuba for about what, 40 years?
1979.
Yeah, he's been there for a minute.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and for those who don't know, if you don't know, cop her book, go get Assata, read the book, and understand what you're dealing with when you're talking about Sister Assata Shakur. And she's one of the few people so far that's actually still alive, along with Brother Mumia.
That's right.
Right. So, yeah, Sister Assata, Black Panther Party member, member of the Black Liberation Army.
This is Brother Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton is very near and dear to me because he was instrumental in the creation of the Young Lords. Brother Fred and the Chicago Black Panther Party chapter went into the hood and started organizing the cliques, the gangs. As much as I hate using that word, he was very successful with the Young Lords and the Blackstone Rangers. But the Young Lords proceeded many years later in doing revolutionary political work. And it was attributed to the work that this brother had done in politicizing the young bloods in the Puerto Rican community.
Yeah, he was a serious organizer. He wasn't even 25 years old, was he?
No, he died when he was 21. He was murdered when he was 21 years old.
Yes, that's right. And that's a whole story itself.
By the pigs, by the police.
Yes, with the complicity of one of his own so-called brothers who's the head of his security. Take notes, family.
That's right.
All skin folk ain't kinfolk.
That's right. This is Yuriko Chiyama. Yuriko Chiyama, when she was a young woman, she was one of the victims in the concentration camps for Japanese Americans during World War II. When she moved to New York City, she met up with Malcolm when Malcolm had left the Nation of Islam, and she joined the organization that Malcolm had created. I believe it was the Organization of African Unity. Yes, she became one of the members of it, and did political organizing with Malcolm here in Harlem. Yuriko Chiyama was also very near and dear to me because when I was a young blood, she taught me. I went to her house because I was friends with her son, and she taught me that it's okay to sit on the floor and eat. Because that's custom in Japan. Of course with pillows and all that. And I said, damn, they got to develop this in Puerto Rico because it's comfortable. you know. Uh, but Yudi was a she was a bullet. Okay, she was tremendous in her humanity. There wasn't a struggle that she did not express solidarity. She expressed solidarity to the Puerto Rican people, to the African American struggle, to all oppressed people, Palestine, everyone.
I know she was like a trusted confidant of Brother Malcolm too, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
When Malcolm was shot in that tragic day in 1965, Yudi was on stage with him, and she was one of the people who tried to resuscitate him. You know, and it was an event that saddened her for the rest of her life.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yes. There you go.
If you don't know who this gentleman is, you need your eyes examined.
For sure.
This is Brother Malcolm X, whom we just mentioned, and I lined them up next to each other because that's how close they were. And just so you know, I helped restore a mural in Harlem dedicated to both Malcolm and to Yuri Kochiyama. It's on 100 and between 125th Street and 126th Street in the strip known as Little Broadway.
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
By Saint Mary's Church.
Yeah. Yeah. We're familiar. Yes, sir. Brother Malcolm, man. He's brought so many people to consciousness and to the movement, and his death is really it's unbelievable. How many people you talk to and say, "Oh yeah, Brother Malcolm. I saw the movie, I read the book.
Brother
I saw
AG.
a play. It's amazing."
Brother AJ. AJ.
Yes, sir.
Something you should know about Malcolm and the Young Lords. Most of us did not know about Puerto Rican history when we joined the Young Lords. We were inspired to join the Young Lords thanks to the militancy, the vibe that Malcolm X put out. Okay, it was once we joined the Young Lords, thanks to the militancy of Malcolm X, then we started learning Puerto Rican history. But Malcolm X had a tremendous impact outside of the African American community that a lot of people don't know. He also had an impact on the Chicano American movement, on the Brown Berets. Okay, a little thing that you may want to consider talking about in the future on the show. The force that Malcolm X represented.
Yes, sir. Definitely. He has he actually has his 100th birthday coming up next month, May 19th. Yes, sir. So we definitely going to be talking about Brother Malcolm.
I believe it's the 100th. Yes, it's the 100th anniversary of his death. That had just passed.
No, that's in February.
Yes, that had just passed.
Yeah. All right.
Mutulu Shakur. Mutulu Shakur is interesting. He worked with Young Lords at Lincoln Hospital, and he was a pioneer of something that was illegal at one time in this country, and that was acupuncture medicine. And he pioneered in the use of acupuncture medicine to heal heroin abuse. But there's a whole lot more stories to him because, like Che Guevara, he was a medical doctor. He combined his revolutionary zeal and politics with his professional skills in medicine.
Brother Mutulu, didn't they just release him not long after he transitioned?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, they held him unjustifiably for his in most of his life. And when they saw that he was terminal, They basically didn't want him to die in prison.
Right.
They didn't want a corpse. They didn't want the expense of having a corpse in the prison, so they released him. You know, I mean, I'd rather die next to my family in a bed in a home than die in prison. But you always have to consider what the motives are of prison officials.
Right. And it might have been seen it like he'd be almost like a martyr, so to speak, to the population in behind the wall.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. We got now. So as we're going through this, family, this is what we're looking at. This is no stick figures here. This is real detailed artwork. Great portraits of revolutionary individuals.
That's Lucy Parsons. She was born into slavery, and her husband was one of the martyrs that was accused of killing a police officer in one of the early May Day demonstrations. And since then she became a labor organizer and a leading feminist leader in the United States. But I'm talking about a revolutionary feminist. Not a bourgeois feminist, because she was very critical. She was very critical of bourgeois feminism.
Good, because there are distinctions for all these ideologies. There's different sometimes expressions, and all of them aren't necessarily progressive or revolutionary. So that's
precisely.
That's right. All right.
Zapata, Emiliano Zapata. He was an agrarian leader of the Mexican Revolution in 1910 to 1920. He was the badass, another badass in Latin America, and thanks to him, the Mexican Revolution has a legacy that many people get inspired from.
Man, we got so many people who have given us examples, who modeled for us what struggle looks like.
This is Sister Afeni. Sister Afeni was a member of the Black Panther Party. I should say she was a leader of the Black Panther Party and one of the Panther 21 political prisoners here in New York. She was also the mother of Tupac Shakur.
That's right. That's right. And some say that she and some of her Panther comrades helped raise made more of a new age revolutionary in certain respects, in hip hop and in some of his own organizing and activism.
Well, hip hop was revolutionary. I challenge anyone to tell me the opposite. It may have been co-opted, like anything else. If it's not utilized mainly by a strong revolutionary movement, it will get co-opted.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You leave anything valuable on a table, and somebody will come along and snatch it, and that's precisely right. What the mainstream did with hip hop. But hip hop began as a revolutionary art form, like all art forms begin with revolutionary content.
That's right.
El Comandante Fidel Castro Ruz, leader of the Cuban Revolution.
Brother Fidel. Now, he was an attorney, was he not?
Yes, he was.
So for those who think that you can't go to school and that's anti-revolutionary, you need to read your history. Right? Yes, revolutionary, you be in school formally or not in school formally, right? So it's good to know the history. He committed class suicide for sure. But he was a revolutionary to the core, as was Che. Che was a physician, as Baba mentioned earlier.
He was a surgeon and a medical doctor.
That's right. Know the history, family. Know the history.
And speaking of Che, speaking of Che, here he is, looking all mean and bad. Don't mess with us.
That's right. They killed Che.
The CIA murdered him in Bolivia.
Wow. All right. So, family, we're showing you this so you know what you're getting. We want you to come down to 367 East 10th Street, Saturday, April 26th at 5 p.m. We want you to buy this art that Baba Carlito has painstakingly and with much love created for the people. And
And
last
people
but
should
not
know.
least,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead, Baba.
People should know that the money, the proceeds from these paintings is not going into my pocket. I'm not trying to get rich. That's why I collect a pension. Uh, uh, the proceeds are going to El Maestro Incorporated. And what is El Maestro? It's a community center in the Bronx that takes kids, black and brown kids from off the streets, and they teach them athletic sports, particularly wrestling and boxing. It's also a cultural center where musicians perform, and where musicians are given a break and asked to perform for the first time with an audience.
Is that
It's
where I met you?
yes, sir. That's where
Ah,
that's
okay.
that is my second home, and
Yeah.
I will continue supporting El Maestro because they raised the revolutionary pride of the Puerto Rican people. El Maestro, they got his name because that's the nickname of Dr. Pedro Albizu Campos. He
Mm-hmm.
he was nicknamed El Maestro, which means the teacher.
Teacher, and he was also a lawyer, trained in the United
Yes, he
States,
was.
correct? Mm-hmm.
He was a lawyer, but he also had many degrees, one of which was in nuclear physics.
Wow. Yeah. So don't be ashamed, family, if you went to college or you're studying. There's nothing wrong with that,
No,
right?
you got to
People went
stay
to
in
the
school
revolution in different ways.
because in a new society, we're going to need skills.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that was just to give you all a little taste of what you're going to get when you come out. Now, throughout the show, I've been scrolling on the bottom. It's like a ticker to come to Baba Carlito's art show Saturday. I think I misspelled Saturday. Saturday, April 26, 2025, 5 p.m., 167 East 10th Street. Going to the east side, the lower east side. And we
Lois
hope that
Sider.
all of you will come out. Right now, Baba, as we know, this is going to be a short show because we got a lot going on over here on this side too. But we wanted to make sure that people know about this important event, not just the particular event, but this whole idea of art as a tool of revolution and you actually modeling it so people can see. So if we had children that were young and we didn't have any books available, we could take them right to the art show. And just by going over the different pieces of art, we can teach a whole class on some of these great individuals, how they sacrificed their own comfort to fight for the rights of other people. So the art is very important, and we're glad that we have you here to remind us of that. That's very important. So
And all artists are also obligated, all artists are obligated to use their talents to educate.
yes, sir. Baba, before we leave, are there any is there anything you wanted to say that you didn't get a chance to say?
My only passion, my passion is that people unite all oppressed people and build a movement that will overwhelm the existence of this criminal system. Because no one is going to liberate us but us. It's not going to be the Democratic Party. Okay, they put Trump in there too. So we have to take this experience, what's happening in the country right now, as a lesson of what is it that we have to do to emancipate ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Baba. With that, we're going to sign out, family. Come on down. We've been scrolling it. If you didn't see it, come back to the recorded version and look at it again and get the address. Make no excuse as to why you can't be there unless you really can't be there. But Baba Carlito, thank you for your time. Family, peace, black power, power to all the people, supporting all oppressed people who aren't eating, who have no clothes, who have no medical care, and who are oppressed. We should all want to see everybody to be in a state of peace and tranquility and have all the material things they need to survive and to develop. Family, thank you for tuning in. Peace, Black Power. We see you next time. Thank you, Baba Carlito.